Gonna do this video like I did the last, with breakdowns after each period. But let's talk about it. The Florida Panthers need to win this game if they want to keep it a series. If they go down 3-0, that's just gonna be too tall of a hill to climb, but let's get into this first period. The Panthers came out strong, had a lot of energy and compete level. That is a complete juxtaposition from what we saw in the first two games, and they would get rewarded for these efforts. Tkachuk on a nice feed over to Montour would rifle this over the right shoulder of Aiden Hill through a screen. The Panthers are up 1-0, and they're flying high. The Panthers definitely needed this type of start to the game. They could not keep trailing in this series and expect to win games. And for the first 10 minutes, everything was looking good, but some of the discipline issues we saw in the first two games with the Panthers reared its ugly head. Gudas would get hit from behind, and it was called. The ref was going to call this boarding, but instead of taking the penalty, Gudas reacts and cross-checks Carrier. Now we're on a 4-on-4, so a good opportunity for the Panthers to extend their lead gets wiped away from Gudas not being disciplined. And then on that 4-on-4, Duclair takes a terrible penalty to make it a 4-on-3 for the Vegas Golden Knights. And what do you know? The Vegas Golden Knights would strike. Marchessault would shoot this from the point. Great redirect by Stone, and we now have ourselves a tied game. This is not what you want to see. The Panthers gotta be more disciplined if they want to win this game. And a quick side note, Matthew Tkachuk took a big hit in open ice. He would come back for a shift on the power play, but after that would go to the locker room, and he did not come back from the first. So hopefully he's healthy and he'll be back in the second period. The Panthers will need him. But after that goal from Stone, the momentum shifted a bit to the Knights, and with the winding seconds down in the period, the Knights had a great opportunity to take a lead, but Bobrovsky would stand tall and make a fantastic pad save. That was the end of the first period, and if the Panthers want to win this game, they gotta stop shooting themselves in the foot. The Knights have been far more in control of their emotions, and you can see that has been benefiting them greatly in these first two games. That's why they're up 2-0. So hopefully I'm seeing a far more composed Panther squad in the second. You know how I talked about the Florida Panthers need to be a bit more disciplined? Well, we didn't really get that in this period, but I gotta give hats off to the Vegas Golden Knights. The defensive layering that they have, the amount of block shots, and it just seems like, yeah, you might beat one guy, but there's always that other layer that makes life extremely difficult for the Panthers. This second period was all Vegas. They were the far more dominant team, and yeah, the Panthers had some opportunities, but the Golden Knights were the far superior team. Let's just go right into the scoring. On the power play, Jack Eichel with a silky smooth pass throws this over to Marchessault, and he beats Bobrovsky blocker side 2-1, and that would be all the scoring in the second period. And it's not to say that the Panthers didn't have their opportunities, but instead of getting shots on net on the power play, they wanted to make that perfect play, and I understand why. You want a nice easy tap in or a high scoring opportunity, but if Florida wants to have a shot in hell of winning this game, if they do get another power play, just need to start rifling low shots and have a presence in front of the net. They have big guys on their roster, like Tkachuk, for example, that would be able to feast on those type of plays, but to me right now, it just seems like the Panthers are playing a little bit too cute, and to showcase that, the shots in this period were 14-8 in favor of the Golden Knights. This game is a lot more competitive than game 2, but the Panthers need to really rein in their emotions. Lundell takes a really dumb slashing penalty with 19:22 into the second period, giving Vegas the prime opportunity to extend this lead to 3-1 with fresh ice. And with how things are going, I'm kind of expecting that. But we shall see how things go in the third. You know, this third period was mainly the Golden Knights. They dictated the play. They were all over the Panthers. Their defensive presence was felt on every shift. And one moment that stuck out to me, Bobrovsky made some fantastic saves in this third period. But Barbashev rips a shot coming down on Bobrovsky off the crossbar and out. A couple inches lower in this game is 3-1 and essentially puts it out of reach. But due to it not going in, the Florida Panthers had a chance and they capitalized on it. They would pull Bobrovsky, and Matthew Tkachuk would bury home this rebound off of a Verhaeghe shot, and we're tied 2-2 when we're going to overtime. I'll be blunt, I thought the Vegas Golden Knights were the far better team in the third period as well, just the better team overall in this game, but the Panthers are finding a way to make this a game. Bobrovsky's played lights out, and Tkachuk Tkachuk rose to the occasion. I'm not sure how this overtime is going to go. A little bit frustrating for me because I got to check out 11. Let's hope this isn't a multi-overtime game. I'll get back to you after overtime. So we go into overtime and the Florida Panthers kill off the rest of that power play. Fantastic penalty kill, blocked some good shots and kept them to the outside, didn't let anything through, and we had some good back and forth. And then Verhaeghe, the man with the lethal snipe, comes into the offensive zone and just rips this right past Adin Hill. And this series has a completely different dynamic. In a game where I felt like the Panthers got outplayed mostly, they found a way to win. That's why a friend of mine, Flying Fluffy Sports, calls them the Cardiac Cats, because they definitely like to make it interesting. So the series is now 2-1. The Panthers have a chance to tie it up 2-2 Saturday. And you know what impresses me about these Panthers? It might not be pretty, it might not be perfect, but they just find ways to win these crucial games. Matthew Tkachuk getting that monstrous second goal, and then Verhaeghe, who's a great offensive player in his own right, just rifles it right past Hill, and it's a completely different series. Now, if I'm the Vegas Golden Knights, I'm not ashamed of the way I played. I played pretty well in both ends. I played good in front of my goalie. I was pretty much dominating the Panthers for long stretches of this game. There's not too much I would change. That one play I'll go back to, Barbashev, just a couple inches lower, and they go out of this game up 3-0. So if I'm a Knights fan, I'm not too concerned, but if I'm a Panther fan, I'm pretty excited, and now they have an opportunity to tie up this series. The one thing I have to say before I go, if the Panthers do want to make this a 2-2 series, they got to be far better with their composure. Some of the penalties they took were just downright stupid. I would say that penalty late in the third that went into overtime should not have been a trip. It was skate-on-skate contact. In my opinion, Forsling has the right to his ice as well. I thought that was a weak call. But overall, this was a really good hockey game. I'd love to know your takeaways from this game. Who impressed you the most? And do you think the Florida Panthers will tie this series up in Game 4? I'm Captain Paul, and I'll see you in the next one.
Have won their first ever Stanley Cup final game.